Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update, as always, with yours truly. It is going to be a bullish Friday, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be showing you some interesting things from a chart point of view. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin. We're going to be looking at some altcoins, perhaps MicroStrategy that we've looked at that falling wedge on, that we think are now on the cusp of continuation or actually playing out. And on balance of probabilities, I think this pullback might be over. And I think we had fundamental news in regards to what's driving the markets, which is America and, of course, their tariffs. And we've had some good progression in rewards to what I thought was going to be a likely outcome, or the more likely outcome with tariffs, which was going to be some sort of a dialogue and discussion. And actually, you may end up with lower tariffs across the board and more of a kind of free trade zone with everybody, it seems, but China at this point. So we've got a hell of a lot to get into. There was some inflationary stats yesterday I want to start with. We'll look at what the Fed's likely to do next. We'll talk about the dollar. Then we're going to talk about how there is literally max uncertainty and sentiment at really max lows. And actually, this could be the very thing that propels markets to the upside. Certainly as we see continued resolve on sentiment. There was also an executive order signed yesterday by President Trump. It's the Crypto Roundtable today. I think Hester Peirce is heading that up again. We will be streaming it as always, so look out for that. It's 6 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. European time, 1 p.m. Washington time. And then we'll get into a hell of a lot of charting things. Guys, become a subscriber if you're not already. Before I start, I actually want to thank everyone because it's been an interesting time for people that make content on the cryptocurrency space. And despite that, we've just gone from strength to strength to strength in regards to viewership, engagement, across all metrics and all platforms. So that's thanks to you guys. I know there's a lot of people out here struggling. I've had a lot of people reaching out to me. And I think XRP's kept many content creators afloat because it's a popular thing. But we've generally been doing very well throughout this time period. And that's thanks to you guys. And I want to just say a massive thank you from the bottom of my heart to each and every one of you guys supporting this channel and doing what you do. We love you, and this is why we make these videos. Enough of the sloppy stuff. Let's talk about what took place yesterday that no one really reported on because there's kind of perhaps bigger things at play. But this is important to watch. Economic data is very important to watch because it's going to steer the Fed. And there's multiple different paradigms with markets going on right now, multiple different realities and things playing out at once. And that is, tariffs is one, what the Fed's doing with interest rates is another, markets on their own merit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And economic data is ultimately goes towards the Fed's decision. And yesterday we had inflation drop to 2.4%. So we had a drop, we had a minus, we actually had deflation on the month to month, and core CPI also dropped more than expected. So we're seeing a deceleration in inflation. We still have inflation, it's not deflation. And ultimately, this is going to move towards the Fed sort of scenario. And this is Donald Trump Jr. highlighting this. Obviously, we looked at this. Despite that, the Fed still, in the next 26 days when they have their next meeting, isn't likely going to do anything. And they're likely going to hold rates for a while. And I think, actually, what you don't want is a reactive Fed to the markets because it can show cause for concern and more uncertainty. So, very interesting. Good news. I think we're going to continue to see this. I think... And I've been looking a lot into Scott Bessent recently. He's the perfect guy for the job, in my opinion. And Trump really has assembled the Avengers in regards to the team that he's got around him. And Scott Bessent is, everyone's heard of Ray Dalio, everyone's heard of Stan Druckenmiller, George Soros, these kind of people, but he is up there. Really up there. In fact, he's the guy that these people have often lent on at times in regards to working alongside them. I think he has a plan. He spoke about this three sort of stalled approach or three legged approach to a stall, and one of them was what they're going to do with energy, and I think I'm certainly seeing that in oil. On the back end of all of this, looks like Trump's 2017 kind of dollar plan that we looked at is playing out. The one thing that isn't is yield, so there's a bit of a discorrelation between the 10-year and, of course, the dollar, but the dollar's very nearly back at the sort of lower band of this channel that we've said it was going to sort of come down to. We haven't quite seen the move in risk yet, but generally a weaker dollar can spur on economic growth. So there's multiple things going on here. And remember that sort of sentiment, and we're looking at this through the US Economic Policy Uncertainty Index, is just at ridiculous levels. And markets don't like uncertainty. People don't spend money. But there is going to be a major reversal and continuation for this bull market that I think is going to come on the back end of all of this. We also had news. This is from Bo Hines. Thanks to POTUS, however people are saying it. A huge win for American innovation and privacy. in the digital asset space. President Trump has ushered in the golden age for crypto. And this is President Donald J. Trump has officially signed the bill to appeal the DeFi crypto broker rule. It's win after win after win for the cryptocurrency space. Yet people are kind of max bearish, and we're really not. And we've warned people against taking a bearish stance on the cryptocurrency space, certainly shorting or trying to do anything contrary to the kind of view that we have, that we're exceptionally bullish. So that's the sort of news. Remember, we've got the crypto roundtable taking place tonight. It's 6 p.m. UK time, 7 p.m. EU time, and of course Washington time. It's 1 p.m. We'll be streaming that. Do check in for that. We always stream these sort of events, and become a subscriber for that, if nothing else. If you want to take your journey a step further, do consider becoming a patron. Let's talk about Bitcoin. So, really, taking all our draws off, we've said we're really not worried about Bitcoin. This just seems to be a normal pullback, despite the stock market having one of the worst days it's probably ever had, or one of the worst weeks it's probably ever had, on the back end of tariffs and all that uncertainty playing through. And now we've had some resolution on it, or at least a willingness to resolve the situation. We're really just waiting for this to recover, and then you're off to the races. And where retail is, once there's an undoing of that uncertainty and more of a clear path ahead, and I think you're going to have multiple things come together at once, like Fed's forecasts, tariff certainty, technical sort of confidence in regards to what the charts are doing and showing that confidence. And we've really said this week for me was all about watching what the S&P did before we really look at what's going to take place forward. There could have been further contagion, but it's a situation that is ever evolving that we're trying to keep you guys up to date on. But despite this kind of price action for the S&P, Bitcoin looked great. And we've said this is interesting. There's a number of reasons perhaps why this is. Actually, for me, I'm looking at a lot of altcoins right now and I'm seeing all the same patterns that potentially Bitcoin also has in the form of a falling wedge. It's not a pretty one for Bitcoin by any stretch of the imagination. And we'll come up the time frames a little bit. But you could have a bit of a falling wedge here for Bitcoin. Let's just do the daily. Let's not bother with the sort of smaller time frames. We're going too small on the time frames. You could have this kind of a pattern setting up for Bitcoin right now, where this just turns out to be some sort of a falling wedge-esque move, or a wedge-like move that's descending, which your pullbacks are in an uptrend that ultimately leads to continuation. I don't think it's long before Bitcoin continues that journey to the upside. And I think further adding to this, you've got a number of confluencing things pointing to upside. This could be another thing. Further adding to this, we did look at MicroStrategy, and we said, actually, this is going to do well, and this is just broken out of a falling wedge. And this could be an indicator for the direction the space is moving in more broadly. This is MicroStrategy's falling wedge. I believe this is going to run and go and see new highs. I think Bitcoin could be on that journey also. And I think when I look at a lot of the altcoins, this is Hedera hash graph. Look at that for a wedge. I'll show you another one, XLM. I'll do a longer video on this later, guys. Chainlink. Not the prettiest. One of my Patreon members actually brought up, and shout out to you, by the way, Ondo. Looks pretty good. You've got falling wedges across the board. You've got a turn in fundamentally what's driving the markets, perhaps. I think the pullback could be over and the sort of move could be on. Shiba doesn't look too bad. Even the meme coins. This is Dogecoin. Not to bring up and bang on about meme coins too much. So I would say on balance of probabilities, and based on technically what we're seeing on the smaller time frames, there's a damn good chance this pullback could be over. And the broader trend that Bitcoin is in continues. And the altcoin sector really is just waking up. So still a hell of a lot to watch and contend with. Don't worry, we've got you covered on a daily basis here at Allincrypto. I think Sunday I'm really going to look at things and see how what revealed to us. What progression we've seen. Technically, I'm seeing lots of small time frame, sort of daily minus bullish patterns setting up that are all perhaps signaling that the pullback for the crypto space more broadly is over. I'm going to do a bit more digging on this and look into some other crypto related stocks and sort of see what they're saying as well, like the miners. Of course, I hold 3 miners, and Coinbase Coinbase was a stock that did it sensationally and it's still going to do sensationally for me. I think we got great entries on it. That's really it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for our Crypto Roundtable stream and hang in there. You know, the worst thing you can do on these events is panic. Hopefully we've helped some people from doing that. I'm hearing horrible stories about people that panicked and got out with traditional asset managers that have lost, like, you know, ridiculous, like crypto style downsides. And if we can save one person from that, you know, we've done our job. The crypto space has such a bright future ahead of it. We can go on all day long about all of that. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. That's really the news. Inflationary figures coming out well. Fed unchanged. Dollar coming down, which are these conditions. Max uncertainty, which could be which could actually be a bullish indicator. Win after win for the crypto space, regulatory, and we're seeing lots of interesting things on the smaller time frames for the cryptocurrency space. It leads me to believe that this pullback may be over. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to see you all in the next one.